Yeah, no, I saw the table on Instagram or whatever. That's pretty sick, man.
Thank you. I can't really take all the credit for it because my girlfriend kind of did it. So, like, I did all the spray painting, but she came up with all the designs and everything. So,
That's sweet.
yeah. So, thanks for coming on here, and we'll get started here. So, yeah. So, I guess we'll start with you here. So, how are you? Like, what are you up to with during all this quarantine?
Honestly, people would think I'm crazy for not complaining about this, but kind of complaining. All like really just focusing on my training, like just between food, like having all my meals in now because we upped everything. So I'm eating more. So between eating, I can actually focus on getting the amount of rest now, and like I can space out my days. But yeah, pretty much just that, and then my online Facebook group. That I
Hmm.
started for group fitness classes. That's about it. I wish I could
Yeah.
say more.
Well, I think for me, like I've actually decreased how much I've ate, so that's kind of hard for me. Uh, so as much as like you're eating more and I'm like eating less, which sucks. I wish I could be eating more or eating as much as I was before everything happened. But just because with the amount of stuff I really have in the basement and the workouts I really have to do, I'm not training. Like, I mean, I can do cardio all day if I want to. I can run outside all day if I really wanted to. But in terms of like the weight training, I don't really have a whole lot. Like even yesterday, I considered it to be like a full workout, and all I really did was like, maybe I was working shoulders, and I only could get like two different workouts in. Mind you, I did maybe 4 or 5 sets, but like besides that, and then I did basically like 150 push-ups and then maybe some different kind of chest workouts, and that was my workout. And that's like nothing compared to what I normally do. I have like an hour and a half, 2 hour workouts and then do cardio. So I've been kind of like cutting my carbs. um, I don't feel bad. I don't feel crappy without the carbs, and I think it's because I'm not using them as much in my workouts. So actually, it's not. I don't feel too bad about it. I'm I'm kind of getting used to like not having that extra meal in, especially this morning. So I had my protein pancake, uh, and then since then I had it at like 9:30, and I haven't ate since. So I'm probably gonna eat right after this podcast before I go work out with my buddy Jared. So he's got kind of like a home gym going on. So I'm excited. Finally gonna lift some big boy weights. So yeah. So yeah, but yeah. So yeah, we're kind of focusing on you here, not me.
Oh
So
no, man. Hey, like everybody, like no, it gives me so like everybody right now is kind of having to make the adjustments, and like you have to do what you have to do, right? I mean, I don't want to say that I'm fortunate, but I am, but I'm fortunate enough that I've had the amount of time off right now from work because I'm going on week 15. And I've actually like I've had a lot of time to be like, okay, well, how can I improvise this? How can I change this? Because I don't have the like obviously we don't have any gyms. So
Mhm.
I live in an upstairs 1 bedroom apartment. So like how are we gonna make this work, Ash? Like you gotta do
Yeah.
what you gotta do right now. And everybody's like I said, making the adjustments they need to. So for some reason mine's just eating more.
Well, I remember I saw like I think it was the first week of the quarantine, or maybe it was week two, and I remember like you were like out working out in the park, and you're like squatting with like the benches and stuff like that. But I think you're lagging here.
Oh, there you are, you're back.
Okay, so you didn't even hear everything I just said.
I missed all of it.
Okay, yeah, no, you were lagging as well. Okay, so I remember like the first week or second week. I think it was the first or second week, and that was kind of when the restrictions weren't as high, but they were like kind of like now gyms are closing and everything. And I remember watching you. You were like squatting with like the benches, and then it got to the point where we couldn't even use benches. We couldn't even use the park. So um, yeah, I don't know. Like hopefully now with that kind of going on, I'm thinking about tempting to like use benches, use any equipment I can to work on because I know gyms are still not going to be opening until a little after July, I think.
Yeah, no. Funny story about that day. So I literally just left the park from like I don't have anything like the category that I'm transitioning into this year, like it's super leg heavy focus. So I'm like, okay, I've got 4 leg days a week. What am I gonna do for this? And squats are obviously the like they work every single muscle in your leg. It's a compound move. Like you gotta be doing
Absolutely.
squats. You gotta be doing squats. So I'm like, okay, there's some heavy benches downtown. So I go downtown, I do my squats, I take my video, whatever, and I'm coming back. And like you said, this was around the time when they're like, oh, like we don't know if we're gonna like keep you in the parks or not, right? Like we might close down the park. So I'm like, all right. I'm running down Queen Street and I run past a cop car, and this cop car pulls out of the parking lot of wherever it was, and it starts driving down the street. And I saw it out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, was I allowed to be there? Like, did I just do something wrong? And so my heart, like, I'm starting to freak out. And this cop goes ahead of me. I'm like, no, 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 I'm good. It gets halfway down Queen Street, does a U-turn, and pulls up right next to me. And I'm like, I'm gonna have to call my grandpa from jail and be like, I got a $700 fine for squatting a bench in a park. Like, really? Dang it. She recognized me from the gym. It was someone from the gym. She's like, hey, you're Ashley, right? I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, you just gave me the biggest heart attack in the entire world. And she's like, what are you doing? Like, I'm like, literally what you just saw. Like, this is what I do. I run around town when it's nice out, or like now it's just too hot. But I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know what else to do. So, and we had a conversation, but I legitimately thought that I was gonna be the first person in Chatham to have a ticket for exercising outside in the park. I was like, so since then we've slowed down on our ventures.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was kind of a lesson learned, I guess. You just want to be low key.
Oh yeah. Well, then I asked her. I was like, "Yo, was I breaking any laws? Like, was I doing anything wrong?" And she's like, "Oh, no, 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 no." She's like, "You're fine." She's like, "You." She's like, she had been on patrol by herself for like the last 12 hours because at the time, like, it was back at the beginning of all this where we were literally like, stay away from each other. And so she was on a patrol by herself for 12 hours, and she's like, "I thought it was you. I recognized you, and I wanted to say hi." I'm like, "Okay, good. Like, I'm not going to jail. Okay, thanks. By the way, you scared me, but." That's kind of, I don't know, it's crazy, it's nuts still, but we got some good news with Good Life's opening, I think. So
Hmm. That's very good news. I'm excited. Like I was just talking to Jared, the guy I'm working out with this afternoon. Supposedly, if everything works out well, because he's got his own business, so it's kind of who knows what's gonna happen today. Um, but yeah, I was talking to him on the phone yesterday, and I was like, dude, first week, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna do squats at the end of the week because I want to make sure every single workout is just gonna be like 150% because that's how excited I am, and I think like
dude, I'm
when
excited for you.
thanks. Well, the thing is, like
Like,
I was so frustrated when everything closed down because I was like, shit, what am I gonna do? Like I put all this hard work into everything, and now it's like before my issue not getting fit was not my dieting. Now I got the dieting down, but the weight part is now out. So I'm like, shit. Like I did all that work for nothing almost. Um, but I'm sure with the muscle memory and everything coming out, 2 weeks, 3 weeks tops, I'll be back to semi where I was. Um, so I'm excited.
oh, for sure. And I think that's a big thing that people are like, I'm like hearing on I'm hearing on social media platforms and stuff, like people are constantly like, oh, well, I'm going to lose all my muscle. Like, especially in the realm of competing this year, like there's so many people who are like, oh, I'm
Mhm.
just not going to compete. I'm just going to take this year and like long off season, I'm getting fat. And I'm like, oh, okay. But like, if you put in all of this work and you told yourself in your head you were going to do something this year, I'm like, if the gyms open up with enough time, like the CPA, the Canadian Physique Alliance, and everybody, like they know they're not gonna like they know for a fact that the like numbers are going to be down at the competitions this year. So instead of having all of the shows bam as soon as everything opens back up, because yeah, okay, there's gyms that are opening across Canada. So instead of
Mhm.
keeping the competitions in July and August when half of the athletes who live across the rest of the nation haven't had a gym that would normally be there, like sometimes some of these competitions it's $150 like an athlete, and that's for just one category. And sometimes you got these guys showing up and they're hitting 2 or 3 categories. Well, that's $400 or $500 now you're not getting from that athlete only because you had your show in July, August, right when things started to open up. So
Yeah.
by the CPA extending, pushing all of these shows back to fall in December, I think it's really smart of them because we are starting to see things open up. So guys, like, you do have a chance to get back into the gym. You do have a chance to, like you said, muscle memory. We've been off. If you've been doing some at-home stuff with band work and whatever, you're at least maintaining, dude. Like, you're at least keeping what you have on. As long as you've been moving around, you've been doing something. No one's just gonna drop everything. Muscle
Hmm.
is a little bit harder. Muscle's hard to lose too, guys. Fat's hard to lose, so is muscle. So, and especially if you go back in, like, there's gonna be a lot of ego running around the gym on the first couple of days, I know, but at the
Oh
same
yeah.
time, like, lift safely, do your thing, get back in the gym, and if you had your mind set on competing this year, okay, guess what? Pick a show that's, 12 or 16 weeks away from July, which all of them are now. There's shows on, they're doing 2 shows on one day in some places. So, like, yeah, you're 100% right with the muscle memory. And, like, as soon as you get back in there today, you're going to pick up stuff and it's going to come right back. You're going to have the best workouts.
Oh, I know. Like I'm more, and it's just my buddy's gym, so I'm so excited just get that, like, because that's what he was telling me yesterday. He's like, man, I just got a pump and now I'm right back into it. I'm like, that's what I'm saying, man. Once you get back into it, you're gonna feel so much better. And so yeah, kind of went off topic here, but let's
Sorry.
kind of talk about your Facebook workout stuff. So what is it that you do?
Okay, so I run a Facebook group, a community, kind of more or less, called the Sweat Sesh.
Hmm.
It kind of came out of nowhere at the beginning of this quarantine. The dance studio that I work at, Total Dance Alliance, and my artistic director reached out to me and was like, "I'm doing this thing for CK for Safety. Do you want to teach one of your classes, like Dance Fit? It's an exercise class." Style dance class for like this. It's for charity. All the funds we raise are going to go to the CK front lines. And I'm like, 100% sign me up. So I did it. And after that week, I got a lot of really positive feedback. And people were like, "Oh, when are you teaching it online again? Are you going to teach online again?" And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I feel like teaching online, like doing this stuff in front of a camera, it's not, I'm used to being on stage in front of a classroom of 30 people. Like, it's a different vibe. It's a, believe it or not, if you've seen the videos, like, it's really hard to get myself that amped up to try to bring the same level of, like the same level of motivation and stuff that you would have as if you were doing it live with me. I'm like, I just
Hmm.
don't know if I want to put my rep on I don't know if I want to put it out there like that. Well, then I did it for a couple of members from Fit for Less, just on like a private Zoom meeting. And they were like, "You need to do this." So I was like, whatever, we're just going to hit it hard. So I created a schedule of group fitness, the 5 group fitness classes that I would normally be teaching. Um, and I have all the rights for the music because I ended up dropping the money on to get the app to be able to have the rights for the music. I dropped the money for the rights, even though Facebook still sometimes kicks me off.
Oh
Um,
no.
Bruno Mars songs, for whatever reason, he has the best like royalty in the world. He is the best team working behind him to protect his music. So shout out to Bruno. Um, but like, so anyways, the classes, basically I teach core classes. I teach a core class that's, core. It's pretty much, it's more ab focused. I also teach a core strength class, which actually is pretty much full. It's like full body conditioning. Your core's got 33 muscles in it, believe it or not, and they're not all just in this area. Like, everything makes up your core. So that's kind of more the focus there, to make everything a well-oiled machine. HIT, high intensity interval training, has been the most popular by far. It's killing me teaching it as many times a week as I do, but I know that right now it keeps me, like, getting that positive feedback, like, selfishly enough, it makes me feel good. So I really enjoy
Hmm.
teaching it. It's what I need to do. And then Dance Fit, obviously, it's the one that started it all. So those were the ones that I started out with. And then I had another group fitness instructor in the area reach out to me and ask if she could be a part of it as well. And I'm like, well, it's just for, like, I'm just doing this for free right now because the group grew a lot bigger than I thought it was going to. 100%. I only started doing it really for me because I was like, this is my job. Like, I on a daily basis, I teach people. I'm out in the community. I was used to being at a gym from 5:30 in the morning, whether it was for my own workout or to train a client or to teach a class, or I was on the road to a gym somewhere in another city, until I would always hit the gym, usually again when I got back from wherever I was working at night around 8, 9 o'clock. So from being on the go from 5:30 in the morning until 9 o'clock at night to just nothing, um, really took a toll on me. So 2 weeks into this, I was like, nope, doing this Facebook group. And here we are. I've got now, like I said, another instructor on. I'm teaching 5 days a week. All of the classes are free for now because I also understand I haven't been working for 15 weeks. I get it. It's hard right now. And not only is it hard financially, but because of the financial part that's everybody's hitting right now, because everyone's getting hit, financially it's hard. So that causes a lot of extra stress. And when people get stressed out, not only does it affect them, but it affects the people around them. And then it's just a big old chain event. So I figure, okay, if I can start somebody off by having a good day, like I'm having a good day for one because I'm doing what I love. So I'm already in a good place. And then if I can, even if somebody logs on later in the day and does the class, because I keep the classes posted because I know schedules are all over the place, they can log on and do the class whenever. And I can, at least hope that by however many people I hope are viewing that video, they're having a good day. There's something positive. They laughed at how stupid I was. They tried something new. They felt good because they sweat, even if it was for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. It's just going to have a good impact all around. And then also, too, with stress comes eating. And the quarantine 15 is a real thing. So add your regular quarantine 15 plus all of the stress from it. Like it's just as much to keep everybody in a good place as possible, including myself.
100%. Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of people are glad that you do the online classes because there's some people that aren't into doing their own workouts, right? Like they're relying on doing those classes. I mean, if we're looking back at like, well, it's now Fit for Less, but like when it was Good Life, I mean, you saw a lot of people that just went for the classes because that was their thing. Or whether it had been like the spin classes with the bikes or whatever, they relied on having that kind of person or coach to say, okay, we're going to do, I can't remember, there was like a combat fitness class or something like that. There was different other classes. So I think a lot of people certainly rely on that. So it's good that you provide those things for people. And it's good of you to do that. I mean, and it's good for you too. I mean, you're getting your workout in and you're doing it for other people. So props to you.
Oh, thanks. Well, the thing too is, like you said, a lot of people did like they come to the class and it's like that might be their only like that might be their only time for them that day.
Yeah.
Like that might be it. And right now, especially, like, yes, like I've had also too, like a lot of the people who've been doing my classes are frontline workers. Like I've got a
Yeah.
lot of frontline workers in there, and I'm like, that motivates me even more because I'm like, I don't know, but I know you're dealing with stuff all day. So like, it just, it, and those same frontline workers are the people that would, be at the gym at a certain time of day. And now that was their stress time. Now they don't have that. So if I can even provide them with that, it's the least I can do from sitting at home being off. Because yeah, and I understand too, not having the gym. Classes do provide a kind of a little bit more of an option for people because you don't have the gym, you don't have as much exercise, you don't have as much equipment to use as you normally would. So my classes require little to no equipment. And if you have equipment at home, awesome. I'll show you some progressions that you can use with it. So I make sure I cover all of those bases too, because once again, I don't know. There might be like I know for a fact, like there's a 73-year-old woman that does my classes, and then there's also a 22-year-old mom. So I have to try to make it's fun for me in a way because I have to try to make it work for everybody, which
Yeah.
is one of the reasons too why group fitness is always kind of, and personal training and all that is kind of where I'm at in life.
Right. Now, I know that you're preparing to do a show. I think you said what, October-ish? November?
um Tentative depending on, so the CPA released a bunch of different date, like they redid the
Yeah.
schedule again. So depending, I'm definitely looking at sometime in the fall. So
Okay.
knocking on
So,
wood, assuming everything goes well, we're looking at the fall. Yeah.
okay. Now let's just assume that you are going to do that. So you've told me that you're kind of bulking right now. So are you like, what is your reason for that? Because I know that you obviously do the classes and then you have your own workout, and I know that I can see that you're on the treadmill a lot. So is it just because of all the cardio you've been doing, especially with the shows or
So
with the
believe it or not,
classes I meant?
I'm not actually bulking anymore. I know I'm
Oh, okay.
eating more, but I am not
Eating
bulking.
more,
You're
sorry.
on the cut.
Okay.
um, And that's why it's always funny when people automatically, like, people hear all the time, like, oh, you eat so much food. And I'm like, I do eat a lot of food. I eat, like, right now, depending on the day of the week and what I'm training in, that, like, I'm ranging anywhere from, 17 to 2,500 calories. It just
Shit.
depends. It depends on the day. So it's really, that's why I don't always believe it when people say you need to be in a caloric deficit to lose weight or to cut. I'm like, I don't know about that. I do believe that there does, like, you do need, that's the baseline, that is the baseline. But if you don't have your metabolism at a certain place, if you don't have a baseline first, you need to develop a baseline and train your metabolism to do things properly. If
Mm-hmm.
you don't develop that baseline, you could add food, nothing might happen. Like, it's too all over the place. There needs to be some type of, like, stability in in your eating habits before you go to make any big kind of drastic change. Because if you are eating 2,500 calories to 3,000 calories a day, whatever you want, you're not following a plan, and then all of a sudden you see this awesome diet on Pinterest you decided to grab that's like 1,200 calories, lose 30 pounds in 6 weeks, and it's like, I'm gonna jump on that. I'm sorry, boo, but there's a good chance it's not gonna work for you.
No.
Like,
And
that's
that's
why that's why we hire coaches. Like, that's why I have a
exactly.
coach. Like,
And that's kind of that's why it's good to have a coach who's not only knows their shit, but has had that experience in doing the show, or just having experience in just knowing how to get to that certain goal. Yeah, so that's kind of tying into the next topic as about whole thing about dieting. So I thought I want to get your take on mistakes that people make when it comes to dieting and fitness. Now I know you kind of just discussed a little bit of that, but what's your whole overall take on that?
on
Just
like
mistakes that people make in, ter-
mistakes.
in terms of like,
Oh, the biggest one is definitely that, is just thinking that you can just cut a bunch of calories and you know
yeah,
what? And a lot of times you might be able to just cut a bunch of calories, and guess what? You will lose weight. You will lose weight. You're not going to look good. You're not going to feel good. And that weight, as soon as you put a carb back in your mouth, guess what? Your body's going to be like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen this in so long. Let's hang on to it because I don't know when you're going to feed me again. I don't know when I'm going to get it again.
yeah,
And then, especially when it comes to, like, what's another one it was just on the tip of my tongue. That's a big one. Supplements, for instance. People think that supplements can replace, like, they can, but they should not. Like, that is not the point. Right now, my biggest, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna offend like 10 people. I'm gonna lose followers over this, but I'm gonna. There's a couple of MLM program, like, things out there right now, like the multi-level media marketing stuff. Like, I know there's like, I don't want to name them. I really don't want to. But drink this, like, fast all day and then drink this shake. It's got all of your nutrients in it. A through this and this and this, and I'm like, but didn't you did your workout in the morning on zero glycogen in your muscle, like, on zero. You did your workout with nothing. There was nothing in you to fuel that. Your muscle's not going to change. Your muscle's going to deflate. Nothing's going to happen. And they're like, oh, it's my tone program, it's my strength program, I'm getting so strong. And I'm like, but how? There's
yeah,
not any type of, there's no quality. Like, the number one, and I think I've said it to you, and if anybody was ever in this, like, in the store, or if you've ever been a client of mine, I've said it once, I'll say it 7,000 more times. Like, imagine yourself as your favorite sports car, like your favorite vehicle of all time. So, like, mine's Lamborghini. So, like, I'm a Lamborghini. When I pull up to the tanks, I'm not gonna put, like, regular ass fuel in. I'm gonna want premium, because I'm gonna want to get out on the highway and go 150. Like, I'm gonna want to go Mach 10. So if you want to be able to be performing at your best, and you want your body feeling your best, and you want to be able to see, like, you want to see the results you want to see, because ultimately I think a lot of people, they jump into, a lot of people do the weight loss thing, and a lot of people want to change themselves because they want to reflect who they feel like they are on the inside. That should be, like, you love yourself so much that you want to take care of what you look on the outside too, because you deserve it. That's what it should be. Um, and I think, like, if you're not putting good stuff in, if you're just, taking this powder that has, like, a little bit of cocoa powder and a little bit of this and a little bit of that and some crushed up of this, like, where's the quality and the nutrients that you're getting into your body coming from. I understand, especially for people who are trying to put on weight. And I've even had clients before where it's been like, your body right now requires so much protein that I don't know how to get it into you. And I cannot make you as a human being who, like I work for, like, I work the same as everybody else, but I live on my, like, I get it. Finances are tough. I can't ask you to eat 8 ounces of steak a day. I can't do it. So go get a protein shake. But it's when people start like these programs and all of these, oh, drink this shake 3 times a day and then eat a 500-calorie meal. You're going to see some changes in your body because your body's going to it's going to freak out.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, and I think there's nothing wrong. I mean, my philosophy on it is if you're just a person who wants to lose a bunch of weight and just get essentially fit, like you want to just be skinny, I guess. Let's just say that, okay?
Yeah.
And say you're a 200-pound woman and you want to get to 150, 140, and you just want to be just skinny, fit but skinny, then yeah, you want to cut a little bit of your calories because yeah, you want to trick your body. But yeah, as you said, you don't want to cut all your carbs and cut out all this. You have to have a balanced life, but you have to know when to eat certain meals and when to eat certain foods. So if you just want to get to that skinny girl kind of look, well then okay, maybe you don't have to pack in all your protein and all that, but just you got to be mindful of what you're putting in. So yeah, that doesn't mean that okay, well, I've had a long day. Now maybe, I've been working all hard all day. Well, you can't just pack in a couple chocolate bars at night. Like that's not how it works. Now, I think that, if you've been working all week and you want to treat yourself to a little bit of something, yeah, that's why you need a cheat meal to keep yourself sane. Um, and that's kind of where I guess I wanted to kind of talk about my story here, and then maybe you can share where you came from, because that was kind of the next topic. Um, so where I kind of started off with was, yeah, I cut my calories. I was about 236, 37 pounds. No, 238. And I wanted to just lose weight, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I just knew like what I read online. And so I cut my calories. I was eating healthy, like what I deemed to be healthy, which was probably healthier than what I was doing. Like I cut out pop, I cut out a lot of things that you don't really need in your diet that we do like and enjoy. Um, but it was more like, I just did all the right things. I was eating yogurt. I was cutting my calories. I was doing a lot of cardio, which was good. And I was dropping pounds, and then it all stopped. And then it got to the point where I'm like, well, where do I go from here? But as I learned, as I went, I actually dropped down to 183 pounds. But I was like a little, I was thin as paper. And, but now like I realized that when I got a coach and I got everything going on there, I realized like you could be 180 something pounds, but you could be like bulking out at that weight. And that's one thing I had to really learn is not so much like I think everyone has the general idea that yeah, you want to get your protein after your workouts, you want to get your carbs after a workout, you want to get this and this and this after your workouts, but I didn't really understand how to treat food and when to apply it to my life and my diet or to my fitness. And when I got with Team Wink, Trav, I mean, he kind of taught me. He put me on this whole dieting program, and it really opened up my eyes to know when to put in my diet, or when to put in the right foods at the right time. And one thing that he had me do was have some sugar after my workouts, and I thought he was like joking with me.
Right? You're
And
like,
I was
pardon
like,
me?
I was like, are you sure? Like, is this just a joke? And he's like, no, I'm serious. I want you to do it. I'm like, okay. And I just trust him. And I was like, holy cow, dude! Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't get why you're having me do this. It's like, cause when you have good long workouts and your body's depleted. Your body's depleted of the whatever it's called.
Glycogen. It's glycogen depletion. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, wow. So I think to sum up what I'm saying is you never stop learning. And but I'm glad to see where I'm at. And I'm kind of glad, even if I say right now, if I said no, I never want to coach my life ever again, at least I have an understanding of what I'm doing now. But
For
obviously,
sure.
no, I'm going back with Travis once everything goes back to normal because I'm, I want his guidance again. So, but yeah, I mean, where did you start off at?
Um, well, if anybody's there over this quarantine, that's one thing that's definitely come up is a lot of throwback pictures. So my
Yeah.
grandma got really bored and started going through everything, and all these pictures started to surface. And I've actually like, I'm looking back even now, and I'm like, oh, like I've come a lot farther than I think I give myself credit for sometimes.
Hmm.
And I think that that's pretty common. I think a lot of us do that. Because my heaviest that I was ever at was 220.
Really?
Oh yeah, and there's some pictures from Fanshawe in London that'll prove that. When I'm blonde, I've got it's bad. Um, and everybody from Fanshawe can vouch for that. I was a big girl when I went. So I went to school. I was a big girl growing up. Like I was always just. It was you're thick, you're big boned. Like that's what I
Right.
got all the time, and I ran with it. I guess I don't know. I was always like the. Well, I was a theater kid. I always played I was the Melissa McCarthy. Like, okay, like I'll be that. That's fine. And even when I went on my audition, so I went to school. I actually have a degree in musical theater and dance, and I went and I studied in the studio program at the American Musical and Dramatic Academy in New York City. So I was there for school for 2 years, and when I was there, for my audition, they typecasted me as a Melissa McCarthy type, and I got in because I was the loud, energetic, like didn't really like tell me to do something, I'll probably do it on stage, like just I I don't know, I just have always been outgoing like that. And then New York happened, and I got to New York, I got accepted, I went to school, and more or less had a dance teacher tell me, no one's gonna hire a 200-pound rockette. And that was kind of a moment for me where I was like, so right now, what's stopping me from getting the jobs I want? I'd been on over 40 auditions. I'd gotten a couple of callbacks and I'd gone, but like what was stopping me from getting the jobs and everything that I wanted was my weight. And also too, like I should not have been out of breath. I lived in a like everything in New York has like 700 floors on it. I lived on the
Right.
21st floor of something. So sometimes you had to take the elevators are this big. Sometimes you had to take the stairs, and I should not have been out of breath doing all like it was just awful. Like girls in my classes could go and go and go and go, and I couldn't.
Right.
And I brought all the energy on stage and then was whooped after. Like I ended up developing a heart condition. Um, I got diagnosed with osteoarthritis. Like all of these things kept happening, and I'm like, I'm sick of being sick. I moved I moved back home from New York City because of immigration's basically telling me, you're going to be an actress. What makes you different than the other hundreds of actresses out in America? So it's really hard to get your green card or any visa when you're trying to be an actress over there. So
Right.
my parents are here, so I moved back to London and I started at the Palace Theatre there. And actors don't make a lot of money. So I needed to get a job that was going to pay the bills while I was, at the theater 2 or 3 nights a week, which really wasn't realistic, but it was what
Hmm.
24 years old, this is what I'm going to do. Um, I ended up getting a job at Good Life Fitness at a women's only club. It's no longer there. It was the first that shut down that I've been at. But it's not because of me, it shut down after I left. But um, I started at Westmount there, and the very first thing I actually did was walk into a group fitness class on like one of my very first shifts. Because when Good Life does orientations with you, they make you do like you need to the new member experience they want you to go through because you're eventually going to be putting somebody through that process as well. So
Hmm.
I love and respect the company because they want firsthand experiences. So I jumped in that class and dude fell in love. A monster was created. Um, fast forward to 4 years later, bought a house, moved to Chatham, was doing everything, and was like, no, I ended up transferring Good Life to the Chatham one here, and then a couple months later, that one they started doing the sweep of the women's only, so started working at the Good Life here. And I hired first thing I did was hire a trainer because I knew the benefit of having a trainer from working with them there. Because at the time I wasn't a personal trainer working at Good Life, I was just working the front desk. So, but when I knew the benefits of having a personal trainer there, did my GLPTI while I was still working the front desk there, still in a front desk position, and was doing all the education for personal training, because I started to really translate my love of what I was doing on, like, I really liked what I was doing on stage and how I was affecting people as an actress, but I really liked the connections and like the more personal stuff that you had when you were like in a gym, seeing people come in every day and make changes, and like in a class motivating people one-on-one, and still having that on stage live. You can be a
Mm-hmm.
little dramatic and no one's going to judge you moment, that I live for. And I hired, actually, my first personal trainer that I hired was Cass Bowden. So, and at the time,
Okay.
Cass had just gotten hired the same time I did. We were hired the same time, same day, everything. And within like 2 weeks from watching him meal prep and watching his interactions with Wink, and because Travis was his coach at the time.
Yeah.
So, and Cass was prepping for the UFE Halloween Masquerade. And I was like, or the, not Masquerade. And maybe that is what it's called. I don't know. Halloween, the Halloween Mayhem, not Masquerade. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I don't think he's ever competed in a Masquerade. But so, and then like I watched him do that and I'm like, this guy knows his stuff. And then I would listen to him, you know, talk about Wink's program a little bit, and like the stuff he would learn from Wink, and like then how he would apply, he would take stuff that Wink would suggest and like stuff that Wink said, and then Cass would, in his mind, because I'm obviously was in a very different place than a bodybuilder was at the time. Like, yes, I had lost weight at this point, but I was still not anywhere close. Like, I was maybe 175 at this time. I was one of those personal trainers that was in their process while they were personal training. And so, no, Cass would literally, like, it was cool because he'd learn stuff and then he'd go the extra steps that I now do as well, and take it and say, okay, if this is how it applies to me, I need to look into more on this and how, because it's working for me, how can this apply to
Mm-hmm.
other people? And before I knew it, I remember the first day, Jamie Lynn was at the front desk, and Cass was like, you're coming to videotape her. She's going to do her first 135-pound squat ever. And I did 3 in a row, no butt winks, no nothing, and they were perfect. And that was such a big moment for me. I don't know why squatting 135 was a big deal for me, but at the time it was. And from, it's like as soon as I did that, I was like, oh, we're hooked. And it was just that I was like, I need to do more of this. I need to do more of this. And then within, Cass ended up leaving Good Life. I ended up going to Wink's competition, Fuad's, in 2018, where he tore that stage the F apart, like just destroyed that whole stage and everybody on it. Yes, I'm bragging about him, but he did. Go watch the videos. And that moment, Carly Munger was there too. Everybody on Team Wink that year just destroyed. And I went down with Kristen to that show. And I'd been a trainer, you know, at this point now, okay, now maybe I'm down to 160. I think I was 167 when I started with Wink. And that was almost 3 years ago. It'll be 3 years. No, 2 years. Yeah, 2.5 years. 2.5 years ago. And the day after Wink's competition, I was like, I need to hire you. I'm like, whatever you just did up on whatever just happened, I need to be a part of that, because that moment right there, that looked so awesome. I want that moment. Like, I just wanted it. And so then I did my first show. I did the longest prep I think anyone's ever done. I consider it a full prep from when we started, really like, okay, this is the show we have our eye on. We started in, I think, November, really prepping. I started with Wink in August of that year, but started prepping in December and competed in July. Did awesome. Loved every second of it. Was entirely hooked. Um, Pushed myself more mentally and physically, I think, than ever at that point in my life. And yeah, here we are 2 years later, and the goals have just gotten bigger. And I don't know, we're still, and like you said, you touched on it earlier, never in my life did I think that I would weigh 150 pounds and have abs.
Yeah. And
Okay.
that's all. It's all about.
Okay.
It's not so much about your numbers. I mean, it is, but it's. I mean, you could be 130 and have abs, or you could be 150 and still be fit, and I think that's another mistake that people make, is that people just look at the number and say, oh shit, I'm 100 or I'm 200 or I'm 100 and something pounds, and they look at that like, oh shit, I really gotta trim down. It's like, well, but no, look at yourself. Like, do you look at yourself and think that, or do you just look at the numbers? And that's one thing that I really realized, was like, I didn't feel like I was losing like when I think it was my last or second week where I was really training, and then everything kind of happened. That was probably the best shape I've ever been in since I was like, 14, 15, when I started my metabolism was, um, yeah, it was probably probably the best shape I've ever been in a long time. And it was about the same weight that I was when I lost so much weight, but I looked a lot more filled out. And at that moment, I felt like, geez, this is just the beginning. I mean, I could get to, like, I don't really know where I would be in terms of when I'd be like full muscle, because of with my height and everything, and me being kind of a smaller guy. I don't really know where I'm being. Like, maybe 170 is where I'd be. Like, if I was like full muscle or fully fit, everything. I'm not too sure. I never really known. Um, but yeah, no, it's been a journey, like you said.
Well, and like that number too, like that number 100% is going to change. Like
Oh yeah.
I like my first competition 2 years ago, like I weighed in on show day. On show day, I was 132 pounds, which that would blow other girls' minds to hear. Like, you are a like you weighed in at 132 pounds on show day. Like, I guess I had a lot, because there were other girls that I was competing with on stage that were 110.
Oh shit.
Like, it goes by, that's why they do put us in, like, for women they have like the small, medium, and tall categories. So
Oh,
like,
okay.
no other girl in my category was going to be like 100 pounds unless I compete. Like, I did do the novice, so that's where, but like, we're all in, like, everybody's, like you said, your body is it changes constantly. So like this year, when I like go to step on stage, like I asked coach, I said, like, what are we, like, how low do we think we're going to go this year? He's like, well, what were you last time? And I said this, and then he's like, he gave me a different number that was it was a significantly higher number. And I'm like, oh, like, that's high. But then once again, it comes back to the age old, like, like lean muscle mass it's still pretty dense. And guess what?
Yeah,
So's fat. Like, fat's not dense, fat's just fat, but like, muscle mass is pretty dense. It's got some weight to it. To be able to pull 225 pounds, you have to have some weight behind you. You have to have muscle on you.
absolutely.
So.
Yeah, and that's definitely important. Um, yeah, so I guess I want your thoughts. I would talk about keto, but I think it's been talked about so much. I think everyone knows the deal with keto. Me personally, I don't think it's good for you, but that's just me. But one thing, and I don't know if you've ever heard about it, but the carnivore diet. The carnivore diet, I've heard about it, and I think it's absolutely disgusting. I couldn't do it. I love meat, but I don't love meat that much. What's your thought?
Okay, I actually was just listening to this is the second time today that this has been brought up. I don't, like, right before we jumped on, I was kind of like, I was listening to other podcasts because I'm like, okay, well, I want to make sure I say the right stuff and I sound okay. So like, and that was one of the questions, because it was very recent. It was a podcast that was released yesterday. And it's a bodybuilding podcast, and they were talking about the diet a little bit, but I
Mhm.
don't quite know what it is yet. All I know is that, like you said, it's a disgusting amount of just meat.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Like, I'm assuming it would have to be all like lean meat. I can't imagine that they're like, yeah, you get your bacon in the morning, then you get your meat at lunch, and then you get this. I personally, like, I've heard like that it's worked. Like an idol of mine, Joe Rogan, he did it, and he got like he's never been out of shape by any means. He's always kind of been in good shape, but he really got in good shape, and he's got to be almost like 50. And I mean, age doesn't matter, but it does. So I don't know. I mean, part of it too. I mean, the guy also, he has so much opportunity to, with that, and he's probably got the money to buy whatever lean meats he wants. Like, I know he eats a lot of elk, which is so freaking lean, uh,
And expensive, like
and
bison.
expensive. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I am a sole believer. You treat your body well, get all the different foods and good foods that you need. You're gonna be fine. Um, and talking about how expensive dieting is, so how do you deal with the buying groceries and things like that? Like, because I mean, I think we're all in the same boat. I guess how do you get through the loophole of everything with like buying meat and all the things you need?
Um, so for one, if anybody does have me on any socials, my fridge, if you saw what my fridge looked like, you'd be like, there's nothing like when Travis comes over, he has to bring his own food. Like I have no food for anything. There's nothing in my kitchen right now that I can't walk out that I would feel bad about eating.
Right.
I don't have anything in my fridge right now, dude. Like it's like I've got two of those things of so like eggs, for instance. Superstore, $6, 30 eggs.
Oh shit.
Awesome, love it. So I've got two of those cartons, so I've got 60 eggs.
Wow.
Um, ate a lot of eggs. I've
I
got
would
60,
think that.
so I got
I
60
think so.
eggs, and then I have that app Flip. So like shout out to Flip. Whatever. So every time there's a sale, and I have meat specifically tagged on it. So every time there's a sale on meat somewhere in Chatham, Ken, it sends me a notification.
Oh, okay.
So I have it starred. Also, too, Babcock's, but like I butcher shops like Shinkles, Babcock's. Like I will call. Like I always kind of get on Wank about this, and he'll 100% vouch for this. I'll be like, "Yo, what am I gonna be eating like next week? Like, are you gonna change stuff? Because I'm ordering meat. So I will order meat in bulk. Like I buy like the chicken breast. I think I get like, oh god, all I know is it's $45 and it's a box this big, like it's huge. And the chicken breast, because it's coming from a butcher as well, you're also getting that free range. You know where it's coming from. You know, it's not pumped full of
Yeah.
saline like it is at Walmart.
Oh,
But like
yeah.
hey, I get it. Sometimes you don't have a choice, and I have to get it. I understand. But
Yeah.
it is, if you can do like anything, if you can do a lump sum of it all at once, that's the case. That's more or less what I do. Same with rice, which I'm still mad at everybody in Chatham for, because all I have to say is that before all this Corona stuff happened, Sobeys was never sold out of vegetables. There was frozen vegetables, frozen spinach for days. And
Yep.
now I don't know what happened, but there's no frozen spinach. There's no nothing. There, like I walk in there and I'm like, what do I have? Like I had to eat corn for mixed vegetables.
Oh,
And
I know.
to me, I'm like, corn is a useless like
It
clients know,
is.
clients know how I feel about corn. I'm not knocking corn. I love corn on the cob. Just cute little picture of me at my grandma's house. But I know there's not it. Anyways, yeah, that's more or less what I've kind of been doing. I did actually, so my vegetables per meal have gone up a stupid amount. So like 150 grams of vegetables at 4 meals. It's a lot of vegetables.
Yep.
So I actually I told my grandma, and she's like, "Well, you're gonna have to grow your own garden." And I was like, "Hmm." So project DIY until the gym's open. I think there's probably gonna be a tiny little garden going in somewhere around my home gym up here. We're gonna figure it out, because like you said, it does get expensive. But now that being said, I know you're guilty of this too. We splurge on Walden's. By the way, restocked at Sobeys yesterday.
Yes. I know.
I went.
Remember I was messaging you about that like
I
a
know.
while back. I'm like, Ashley, you didn't fucking take all the Walden Farms, did you?
If it was the caramel, I
Just kidding.
probably did, because I did buy two of them.
Yeah,
But
they're always out of it. Every time I go, it's like I
I
go there
know.
and the only one I like is the regular pancake syrup one. The other ones,
Really?
I'm gonna disagree with you. I know you like the caramel. I know you like all that stuff,
Oh.
but it tastes like shit. I hate it so much.
Okay, I didn't know if we were allowed to cuss, but no.
No, it's okay. You can cuss, swear, whatever you want to do.
Have you tried any of the other stuff like the fluff or anything?
Yeah, so I had
Trash.
I tried the
Straight
chocolate.
trash.
And yeah, the marshmallow stuff is like I wanted to try. I was curious, so I'm like, okay. And I really didn't think it was gonna be bad, so I'm like, okay. So I went in there, brought it home. My mom's like, "Oh, what's this, Luke?" I'm like, "Oh, it's like this, like the Wallen Farm stuff I have." And she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, there's like this marshmallow fluff. I want to try it out because it looks pretty good, like no calories, et cetera, et cetera." I take one taste of it, spit the whole thing. I threw it in the garbage. She's like, "Look, you just paid money for that."
Instant
I'm like,
regret.
and I'm like, I am not regretting that whatsoever. It tasted like shit. It tastes like chemicals. I'm not having it. And that being said, on that note, have you had the Iron Kingdom? It's like they're like the recovery drinks. The white,
Oh my
remember?
gosh, yes.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh,
Yeah.
it's that shit. I can never drink that again. Like it was nothing like the pre-workout or the BCAAs. Not even
Um,
close.
wait, which one are you talking about?
The Iron Kingdom White Freezy.
Oh, the white freezy one? Yeah,
Yeah,
straight, like
straight
straight.
ass.
Yeah, no, trash on a hot day. Not good at all. Like, not good at all.
Because because you have like your peach mango and it's like it's tastes like heaven. It's like what do you guys do? Like
No,
like
they literally, that's my biggest issue with, I think, some supplement companies is it's like, if you say it's going to taste like something, now, right now, like, and like, um, I follow, Fuad from Windsor. So, like, he has hostile supplements that's coming out right now. And
okay.
he has flavor tests coming to him all the time. So, like, he's trying out right now the chocolate peanut butter. I feel like I'm giving him a free rep right now, but whatever. He's cool. He's cool shit. I like him. He's aight. But so he has a chocolate peanut butter, and I totally voted for that fucking flavor too. What flavor of protein he should come out with, and he's got a chocolate peanut butter one. And I respect this guy so much because he will literally get it right out of the bag from the company that like makes it, whatever the process is of them making it and sending the first sample over to him himself. He'll mix it up, he'll take it, and he'll be live. He'll go live and he'll be like, "It's good. Needs more." Like he's so honest about it, and I'm like, you know what?
Right.
Fucking mad respect, because I don't want to waste $50 on something that you're gonna tell me tastes like this when it doesn't, because that's all that white freezy from Iron Kingdom was. The white freezy
Yeah.
BCAAs and pre-workout, fire, pure lava. The stupid can thing, garbage,
And then you have like and
garbage.
like I know GNC was selling the uh what is it called? They come in the same kind of can, but they're more like
Bangs,
Rave or what?
bangs,
Bang. That's what the hell did I say Rave for? Yeah, Bang. Sorry,
bang energy.
Bang. I think it's the cherry cola one or something. It's called. It comes in like the maroon and black
Yep.
can. Oh my god. I had a team meeting at work. Yeah, it was like more of like a Christmas thing. So I didn't plan on eating because like we're eating at like a restaurant. It was the neighborhood social. And of course, it was like the middle of the week, and I didn't want to have my cheat meal then because I didn't want to destroy my weight for Saturday because I weigh in every Saturday morning. And so I just bring that, and everyone's like, "Look, what are you drinking, man? Like you can't bring a outside drink in." I'm like, "Yes, I can." Like, yes, I can. They're like, why? I'm like, because I'm not gonna watch everyone eat everything and not have something to like, you know, get me through everything. So
No,
yeah,
that's
they're
probably
just
one of the biggest things though, dude, is people
yeah,
people always have an issue, like, whenever you're trying to embark on some type of, like, I thought, sorry, it's a little off, but I do want to say this because I know you agree with this.
yeah,
When it comes to, like, there's everybody always talks about, and I'm gonna say it in terms, but like the whole term of like fat shaming, there is such a thing. I don't care what anybody says as fit shaming. Fit shaming is 100% a thing, and I can say that because I've been on both sides of it.
absolutely.
Like, you bringing that energy drink in to, like, well, I want to have something to sip on, I want to have something to taste because I'm in a restaurant and everybody else is eating. But people see that, and as soon as, if it was a protein shake or something, like, anything, like, people will say something about it, and I'm like, you don't have to point it out. You don't have to. Like, I'm here.
Yeah,
Like, I have a pretty awesome group of friends because they know that you want to eat in front of me, fine, go for it. Because if I wanted to eat, I know that I'm comfortable enough with you guys that I can bring my own stuff. Um, and but like you said, you get the looks and you get all that, and you're like, you know what? Yes, I would love to be eating the charcuterie board with you, Karen, but I have Wink to reply to on Saturday, So it's not going to happen because I don't want to get on the Stairmaster for 45 minutes every day next week. So eat your
Yeah.
charcuterie board and I'll drink my bang.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of one thing
Like,
that, yeah, I hear you there. So two parts of that. So I agree with you completely. There's a lot of that. Um, Now I think I've got more like a passive aggressive kind of approach. Um, like I remember, I'm trying to think. Like there's been times where I've had to go to like family functions. I think because I started training with Wink in October. I think my first week was just before I went to this Halloween party, and
oh,
that week was so freaking hard because it was so new to me. Like I thought I was eating strict, and then when I got with him, it was like, no, 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 Luke, like this is what your diet's gonna be. So the first week was really difficult,
no,
but
no, no. No,
yeah,
no,
so
no.
my first week was really, really hard. But yeah, so I started in October, so I think it was around December. Yeah, December I think. And I was having Christmas with my family and my sister. I love my sister. But I think the way I kind of came off, like I understand why she kind of took a little personal. So I enjoy myself a little bit, but I couldn't as much as I wanted to. It's Christmas. We're gonna enjoy ourselves. And
100%.
I remember it was something where and I'm not having anything against my sister. It just maybe it's the way I came off to her, and then it just kind of bounced off each other. But I just kind of said, she's like, "Oh, Luke," she's like, "Here you go." And I can't remember what it was at dinner. I think it was stuffing or whatever, and I really didn't want to have that. And because we had potatoes, we had other stuff, so I'd rather take the potatoes over the stuffing. And she's like, "Here you go."
Oh,
She's like, "You love
100%.
stuffing." I'm like, yeah, but like I really don't want stuffing. She's like, Luke, like it's Christmas, you can enjoy. I'm like, no, but like you don't get it. Like there's still sweets after, like, and I guess it's like I said, my sister, I know she's not like that. It's just I think it's a way it kind of came off. But I guess that's not the best example for fit shaming because my sister loves me and I love her and
Oh,
we're not we're not I guess we're not like that, but I've had other instances where I've gone out in public or gone around people and people are like, "Oh yeah, gotta get your protein in, right?" I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Why don't you just like enjoy yourself once in a while and live a little bit?" I'm like, "I do, but not today."
dude.
And I think even my mom, like it took her a while to understand why I was dieting the way I was. And I said, Mom, I'd love to eat that, but I can't. I just can't. Like I said to her, I'm like, you don't understand what is actually good for you and what's not. Like, I know, Mom, that seems to be good for you, and that's great if you want to eat that and that's your goal. But like for me, I can't eat, like that's not part of my diet. So it took my mom a little bit to actually fully understand, like, oh shit, like this, it takes a lot of work. I'm like, yeah, it does. Like I don't pound like the same meals every day just because I'm bored. No. Well, if anything, it is boring. So I do it because that's what you have to do to be consistent, and consistency is the key. So I guess not so much have I had it from like random people or friends. It's just more family, but it's more misunderstanding than shaming, I guess.
And with family especially, man, like that's it's the hardest because they don't understand. They want it like they like you said, like they see it like you said, like my mom, my meals are boring. And so she's looking at you, she's like, oh, but I like, so she wants you to eat, like she wants you to enjoy your eating, and she like it's all coming from a good place.
Hmm.
My grandparents, anybody, they're my best friends, and that like I would do anything for them in a heartbeat.
Right.
Except give up bodybuilding. Um, because they do not understand this one bit. They're 87 and 89 years old. So I'm not expecting them to get it. But like my grandma literally just had this conversation with her yesterday because we're finally allowing each other to like, so I have been sitting in the car when I go to her house and she's been in the kitchen window. Well, now she comes and she sits on the patio because it's nice outside, and I sit on the hood of my car and we talk that way. Well, yesterday I'm out there and I'm sitting on my car and she goes, "You're just too slim." And I'm looking at her going, "Okay, I don't know if I'm insulted because I'm not trying to be slim. Like I'm trying to be jacked, grandma. Like what are you
Yeah.
doing to me here? Like don't be calling me little." And she's like, "Well, I don't understand it because like for a little while there too, like my grandma and my grocery hauls, like they were the same. So she saw everything that I'm getting. And then when I get meat from the butcher, like usually my grandpa and I go half and half on something.
Mm-hmm.
So like, like she knows how much I eat. And like, my grandpa has cut me off at all you can eat ribs before at Montana's. I've been cut off by my grandfather, not the restaurant, by my family being like, stop eating so much food. And I'm like, no. So my parents know that I eat. But
Right.
once again, it comes down to like, well, what kind of food? Okay, ribs was a bad example. Sorry, coach, but like that it was like 4 years ago. But
Okay. Yeah.
it wasn't recently. This did not just happen. I did just
We're
stop
just
going
gonna
like
we're just gonna sweep it in the trash.
sorry, coach. No, it didn't happen. Um, I would feel we all know I'd feel too bad about it and like cry the whole time.
That's
Um, right? So but no, it's just knowing about what is good to put into your body. Like I said earlier, like my fridge, the average person, and I like say this lightly, but like the average person like would come into my like fridge and look in my fridge and be like, you have eggs, you have lemon juice, you have mustard, like, and then you've got like a bunch of Tupperware and then like 6 different types of Frank's hot sauce. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, where's the food? And I'm like, this is the food. This is what I eat every day. And then, but you know what? Then when I do get to have a cheat meal or something like that, like it sounds really, really lame, but I've gotten to the point where it's like, do you know how much of, well, you know how much of a highlight that is?
yeah.
You look forward to that. I've been looking forward to Steve's chicken poutine for the last 2 weeks, and I
Oh
still
yeah.
don't get a cheat meal. So when I do finally get a chance to have that, it's going to be awesome. And like, it's little things like that that over time you develop a sense of looking forward to, I think.
Hmm. Well, and that's it. Like people are like, why are you getting so excited about whatever you're doing? Like I think for me, like my cheat meal, I still do cheat meal once a week. Um, and I think the first couple of weeks of the quarantine, I was kind of snacking more than I should have. But like with my cheat meals right now, and one of the cheat meals was I just make 2 homemade burgers at home, and people are like, "Really? Your cheat meals is not just gonna be that?" I'm like, "Yeah, but you don't understand. I don't eat that. I don't just eat that on a regular basis, and I know how to make it. I know how to make it good, and I know how to make it lean, and I know what I'm gonna get. So like, I get like the lean burgers. Like it's like the Blue Label, I think it's called
Mm-hmm.
Blue Menu ones. I get that, and the buns. I mean, buns are buns. I sometimes get the buns, sometimes I don't. And then for like sauces, I only put on mustard. Obviously, I know you're a big mustard person, so am I. So I put the mustard on, and usually try to keep it as healthy, but I still enjoy it. I mean, it's a burger.
Well,
Um,
and I think
and
that's also kind of the beauty of like if you look at like if you look at kind of what our meals are, like the way like people always hear the term dieting and they hear meal plans, and like I know for a fact like when I have like so now like I teach group fitness and I am a trainer, so like I only train lifestyle people.
okay,
I only do lifestyle coaching for people like your everyday person out there. In no way, shape, or form do I, and I want to make it clear, I'm not a bodybuilding coach. I have a coach for that. I am not ever, maybe someday I'll venture into the world of bodybuilding coaching. It might happen. But for right now, I'm not coaching anybody to get on stage. I'm still learning in that area, right? Like we said, how much we've learned from Wink. Like I've learned so much from Wink and so much from everybody else that
hmm,
I know maybe about this much of something this big of the
right,
world of bodybuilding because it is a specific style of training. People say all the time, oh, I want to Ashley, I want to lose weight and I want to do this, but I don't want to look like you. And I'm like, you probably won't unless you start training the exact same way and eating the exact same way. And even then, your genetics and my genetics, not the same, might not happen. So when people hear meal plan or when people hear diet, they think, it has to be super strict because like that's what a bodybuilder's diet is, or like it's super strict and it's so restricted. But really think outside of your little bubble of restrictions for a second and like, okay, I have 4 ounces of extra lean ground beef and
yeah,
then I've got 100 grams of vegetables. What is stopping me from taking that beef and putting a little extra time in that day and maybe making 4 or 5, like taking my beef from the whatever and making 4 or 5 lean ground beef patties that are just the beef patties, or like a burger bowl or something to mix it up instead of just having lean ground beef and rice and whatever. Like take the
Yeah.
options and take the food and like Pinterest stuff, look it up, ask questions. I've had one of my friends messaged me and she's like, I'm I'm trying to not gain a ton of weight right now, but I'm really craving this. Ashley, what can I eat? And I was like, Big Mac casserole. And she's like, what?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I will keep it under 110 calories per serving for you, per serving. But I'll get it. I have a recipe for that. And how do I have it? Because I've had to make things work before.
Yeah.
So it's about, yeah, we're restricted, but at the same time, if you have a little fucking imagination and creativity, think outside the box a little bit, and it actually isn't that bad. And then when we do have, like, okay, I'm at this, and even with a coach, without a coach, whatever you are, I'm gonna indulge this weekend a little bit. I'll bet you $1,000,000, like you just said, you'd rather have a homemade burger. I don't know what, we're clearly both just like burgers. That's all I can think about right now.
I love
Like,
burgers.
right? I'm like, fuck, I want a burger. Big Macs, come on.
Honestly,
Let's
no. If I'm gonna
do
have a
this and
burger,
give us
it's
burgers.
gonna be a good one.
But that's the thing. Then you start looking forward to having good food. Your body eventually will start to crave the good shit.
Hmm.
Because I don't know about you, but oh my god, the when I was in prep, I was 6 weeks out, and from my very first show going back 2 years ago, I was 6 weeks out, and coach goes, I want you to go to Dairy Queen, I want you to get a soft serve, and then I want you to drink 6 ounces of wine. Dude, I made it maybe half fucking way through that soft serve before I threw up I
Oh,
bathroom. I
jeez.
couldn't do it. My stomach wouldn't do it. And then we got home that night. I was allowed 6 ounces of red wine, so I split it into 2 glasses. I made it through the first glass and was on my ass to sleep in like 20 minutes.
Oh, jeez.
And then the next day, he's like, seriously, you didn't even have a cheat meal. So I ended up, I think the next day, I ended up getting like sushi. And just because, yes, I understand sushi, it's a healthy cheat, or, it's full of sodium or whatever, but like I felt so much better eating like rice and like fish and that stuff as opposed to alcohol and ice cream. My body just couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. You just have to kind of find out what works for you. Um, yeah, so I guess one of the bigger topics is, so obviously, you got yourself a boyfriend and you got your whole social life of friends and things like that. So how do you, when it comes to like fitness, obviously, when it comes to wanting to get fit and doing shows and things like that, you kind of have to be a bit selfish. I mean, you kind of have to focus on you essentially when you get to that last, couple weeks, I'm sure. Like I've heard people saying the same kind of thing, like, yeah, you just gotta be selfish. So how does that affect your social life? Have you ever had to lose friends or have to lose people in your life because of your fitness, or has that worked out for you?
um, yeah. Oh, dang. Somebody was like, you're going to say a lot on this podcast. You just wait. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. 100%. I do. I just did. I caught it. But yeah, definitely. I would say I've lost a solid chunk of people. Um, whether it comes out of ignorance, like just not understanding, um, jealousy. Unfortunately, I hate saying it, and that's not to toot my own horn, but it's just that some people can't. Some people. And I don't want to say some people can't. Some people just aren't there yet. Some people just aren't. They have so much other stuff. We all come from different places. We all have so much other stuff going on that they can't fathom. They can't wrap their heads around the fact that you can do this, and they can't. Or like maybe not that they can't, but they can't right now. Like they're just not at a point where they can do it right now. But
Hmm.
I've never cared, like personally. I like to think I've always kind of been a person that's been like, okay, I've learned a lot from growing up. I moved between schools a couple of times, and then even living in New York. It was a game changer. I was 21 and I moved to New York City by myself, and I knew no one. I didn't have family there. I didn't have friends. I didn't know anybody. I was by myself, and I I think because a lot of people are like, oh, you went to school for like musical and like acting, like why are you? And I'm like, no, I don't think I'd be the person I am at all without that experience, because I've learned to be very upfront with people. So like if I am having if they're like, all my friends know when prep's coming. They know that this is something that I do. They know that, fitness is a big part of my life. they also know when I'm not on. Like and I've actually had people say, have you been to the gym today yet? Like, have you done anything today yet other than just wake up? Like Travis, like your like my boyfriend, he'll come over and like on a Saturday night, he'll stay the night. One, I don't have the type of food he likes to eat for breakfast because he's a man and can eat French toast in the morning and I can't. And
Right.
he also knows that like I like to get up and if it's a cardio, like I'll usually Sunday mornings I'll do cardio. It's one of my
Right.
days. So like I like to get up in the morning and I like to do cardio. He knows that, so it's already pre-programmed in his mind that he's going home to eat and I'll catch up with you later in the day. People know like and if they don't, if they know and they're not okay with it, or I've reiterated it to them a couple of times that like, I'm training right now, I just need to focus on me. If some people have taken that extremely personally and have looked inside of themselves for things that they did wrong, and I'm like, okay, you are making this about you and it's not. Like I'm sorry, but I need to be selfish right now because in order for me to be happy, I need to get here, and you're either in or you're out. You either are with me or you're not, and you understand it or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Because I like if you really are my friend and you're my boyfriend and you really care about me, you'll know that this is something that really has, I don't want to say taken over my life, but it has really kind of brought out what I feel right now for me is the best that I can be. Like it's really helping me find a lot of like self-love within myself, realizing and like hitting these milestones that coming from the fagged theater girl that I never thought I could do. It's and just the doors that it's opened and the amazing people that I've met. Like if you can't see what that's doing for me and the quality of my life, then I don't want you in my life. And it sucks, and I don't hold that against anybody as a person, but I'll always live by that quote. I think it was, I'm gonna hate this, I think Tupac said it: just because I
Yeah,
don't want you to
I
sit at my
think so.
table does not mean I don't want you to see you eat. I wish you the
Yeah.
best, and I don't think you're an awful person. I just think that, and somebody did actually say to me, sometimes people just can't wrap their head around this dream or this vision and this stuff that you have. And some people are going to be ignorant to that, and they will remain ignorant to that because that's just, it doesn't make them bad people. They just can't,
Yeah.
they haven't taken the steps within themselves to find what makes them go yet. So you just need to accept it. They're not bad people. You're not a bad person, but that just is, they need to go that way. And then, yeah, as far as Travis, like as far as boyfriends, like Travis is awesome. I mean, he, I was actually over at his house this past weekend, and I had 2 meals left to eat, and Travis had 1 meal to eat because he's still like, he counts his macros and he works out. Like he's still like, he's in it too.
Yeah,
And
like he seems to be. Yeah,
oh
he's
yeah,
he's pretty fit guy. Yeah.
oh yeah, he's trained. He's cutting. I hate how much he's cutting right now. It's not even fair. He started like 2 weeks ago, and he looks fucking great. I'm like, love you, but love you, but no, he's the best. But like his mom was like I got over and I ate my meal, and then Travis, just because of the way timing worked, he ended up sitting down and eating his meal between my meals, so we didn't eat together. And
Right.
his mom was like, Travis, like, aren't you gonna offer, like, it's kind of rude that you're like, why can't you guys just eat together? And he's like, well, because I know that she just ate, she's not gonna need to eat for this amount of time. And I'm like, having that support in a partner to understand that and to like respect that, like, yo, I need to do cardio, and like about like even this year they're talking about not having spectators at shows. Like there's not going to be
Ooh.
any spectators.
Then. Oh right, yeah, spectators. Yeah. No, sorry.
Yeah, so like
I
people
had that
watching.
mind
So
that I
there's,
was thinking judges. I'm like, well,
oh
how
yeah, no,
how is
no.
that gonna work?
Yeah, what the fuck's the point of that? Hey, I look good. But so I'm like, there's not gonna be any spectators. But then like one of my best friends, shout out Darcy, she's amazing. She has stuck by me. We've been friends for the longest friendship ever. We've been friends for
Mhm.
over 20 years. I like, it's crazy. This girl's been friends with me my whole life, and she's my ride or die. And she's like, I will be there. I don't care if there's spectators. I don't care if there's anything, but I'm gonna be there. And same with Travis. He said the same thing. He's like, we're gonna be there, but we'll be in the hotel room. We'll be streaming it live. Like we'll come, we'll watch, but we want to be with you when it happens. Same with like one of my other like best guy friends, Steve. Like he's been around for the last 12 years of my life, and he said the same
Yeah.
thing. He's like, we're gonna party it up Kesha style afterwards. Like, and it's having, there are the people that it's like, I've had to leave you because of this, but then I'm not gonna lie, I think it's made me appreciate and love and really respect like for instance, those 3 people that are in my life so much more. Just
Mm-hmm.
because I'm like, you guys understand. You guys, or maybe you don't understand, but you support it. And
Exactly.
there's no there's no negative feelings. There's no, you genuinely just want to see me do well. And having that, everybody, you need to have, if you are going to do anything, I don't care what your goal is, whether like maybe you want a promotion at work. I don't care what it is. Whatever your goal in life is, yes, you can do it on your own. And I'm never gonna say like no, like, because I lone wolf, like, I got this, like, I can do it. But you do need, we need people. You need people. You can't have,
Absolutely.
like, you need somebody. You need, whether man, it could be the mailman you see once a week being like, you still working out, like, or like, yo boss, how you doing, like, are you getting that job, are you getting that raise, like, whatever it is. There's got to
Absolutely.
be somebody or something in your life that is constantly, and that's another reason to full circle all the way back to the beginning with Sweat Sash. A big reason why I started Sweat Sash is to let people know that during all of this time, I get it. Your gym shut down on you. You feel like garbage because your fitness is sucking and you're not feeling good about yourself. Okay, well, I'm going to be here and I'm going to hold you accountable to these live classes every couple of days. Cool? Like, I'm going to
Okay.
be here to support you for that, because I understand and value how much these people have done for me in my life. And especially, like I said, with my grandparents, my grandma, like,
Mm-hmm.
constantly wants me to be gaining weight. Like, she's just on this never ending, Ashley needs to be, 30 pounds overweight all the time. That's healthy. That's
Right.
healthy from old country, right? That's healthy. But she supports the shit out of everything that I do. Same with my
Mm-hmm.
GPOP. Like, they don't understand the fact. I told my grandma that I was deadlifting 225 pounds in my apartment, and she was like, "Huh, like, just, you used to weigh that," like, like, she lost her mind. But I'm like, but at the same time, she's like, well, I guess if you're happy, like, thanks, grandma. Like, yeah, I am.
Exactly. And when you have people around you that can support you, it just makes it so much easier. Um,
Yeah, it's
and I
finding that
think,
core.
and that's it. I mean, there's so many things I see on Facebook about gym life and everything, and how I guess when you surround yourself with people who are going to support you and be positive, that's what you're going to gain out of it. Um, and I guess that's kind of my last point is that the whole idea about fitness is it's not just about making sure what you can do, but you want to make sure, like I said, you want to surround yourself with people that are going to help you grow, and maybe not so much physically. I mean, that's the work you do yourself for the most part. But it's kind of an analogy I saw on Facebook. It was there's a fishbowl with a shark in it, and the idea is like if you keep a shark in that bowl, it's not gonna grow, but you throw it in a bigger tank, and then in a bigger tank and a bigger tank, it's going to grow even more. So it it's like it only grows as big as the tank that's in. I guess that's maybe I'm very vague on the whole thing, but I guess the whole analogy was the more you surround yourself with good people, the more it's gonna help you grow, I guess. I'm bad
No,
with analogies, but I think that's what it was.
100%. And that's the thing too. Like, you can, it's really, really easy. It's so easy, especially right now. Like, I like I've like I said, I've been off work for 15 weeks. I
Hmm.
don't have an income. I don't have anything going on during the day. I am responsible for getting up in the morning and deciding that at 6 a.m. I'm going to teach a class to maybe 3 people online, because they're the 3 people that I know are going to be there. But
Right.
it's really easy for me to just roll over and get on my phone and cancel it. And I've almost done it, man. Like, so many times I've been like, gonna message Bonnie or somebody from the group and just be like, you know what, we're not going live this morning. But
Yeah.
when I know I have those people waiting for me, they support my vision of having a sweat, like, they support me. So I need to be there for them. And then likewise, like, I could just sit in bed and just be sad all day. And I do know
Right.
people that do that. I do know people that do that. They sit in bed and they just, they wake up and they're, oh, well, I don't like the way that I look, but I'm going to try. Or, oh, I don't like, where I'm at in life. This sucks. Okay, well, what are you doing about it?
Exactly.
What are you doing? Why are
You
you
don't like something,
chilling?
change it.
Like,
Exactly. When there's something that you don't like, you change it. And for me, like after sitting on my, not really doing as much as I have in the last week or not last, but sorry, like my first 2 weeks of the quarantine, I said no, no, I'm not gonna let this, because I once there was the second week, I knew no, this shit ain't just a couple weeks. This is gonna be months. And I saw
Yeah.
and I looked at it and said, you know what? I'm gonna just maybe I might lose a little bit of muscle, or I might lose a little bit of what I had, or lose a little bit of my strength, or not be where I was. But like at least for me, like I could maintain something, at least just keep going. And then once the gym's open back up, I'm not going to be totally lost. Um, so for me, yeah, like if you don't like something or you're not happy with about something, you just got to change it, because no one else is going to change it for you. No one's going to
And
be there to hold your hand.
and
So
that's the thing is like when you're presented with an opportunity of some kind, like you need to take the step. Like you like
mhm.
and I know that it's so easy for me to sit here and say that. I get it. It's easy. It's so easy to sit here and be like, "Yep, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this." No, it's not. I just got done telling you guys that it took me 4 weeks into this quarantine to get my ass up off the couch and decide that I was going to start up teaching classes online. It's not
Right.
easy to just do things just because somebody says do it. I had people telling me to do it, like I said, as soon as after I did my first one for charity. And then was like, okay, well, maybe I could turn this into something. And then that's where the support system comes in, when you have those people behind you that are telling you, yes, you can do it. But it's up to you whether or not you listen to them. I've had a lot of people tell me too that like, you're nuts for wanting your pro card. You're insane for thinking you're going to be a pro bodybuilder. And that's fine. I don't care. I don't
You're
care.
you're in control of your own destiny. That's
Exactly.
and it might not happen. It may not. Like I'm not doubting anything. It may or
It
may
very
not, but
well might not.
you can't, yeah, you can't let people tell you how your life is going to be. You are in control of your own destiny for the most part. I mean, I can't assume what's going to happen to my health in 2 years, 1 year,
Well, yeah,
one
you're
month,
in control, but for the
tomorrow.
most part, you're in control.
Exactly. So you're in control of your life. You decide how your life is going to be. No one else decides how you feel, how you feel when you get up in the morning. You have to make that decision on what do I want to do to make my life better. So,
It's all about the reaction, baby. It's how
absolutely.
you choose to handle a situation. You can come like I've said like I'm you can choose to react poorly to a situation, or you can choose to be upset about something. And you know what? Sometimes, yeah, okay, be upset, cry it out, be mad for 5 or 10 minutes, be pissed off about it, let it go, because whatever brought you to that point, that wasn't meant for you. Something else will happen. Your life is not just going to stop. If I don't get my pro card this year, I don't get my pro card this year. But guess what?
Right.
I'm still going to these competitions, and I'm still doing these things, and I'm meeting other athletes, and I'm supporting my other fellow competitors that are out there. Like, I've got people competing in other categories. You're damn straight I'm going to be backstage screaming behind my N95 for them. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, boo, get out there and kill it. Because guess what? Maybe making that really good connection with that person, they'll be like, oh, who is that hype girl? Who is that hype girl? She was really good. She looked good on stage. We need to get her involved in something. Like, every single interaction you make and every reaction you have can potentially take you somewhere else. So,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off there. I'm just kind of coming up on time here, so
No,
I
I know my
just,
phone's starting to
but
starting to get low on battery.
yeah, so I just want to thank you for taking your time to come on and talk about your story and talk about the whole idea about fitness. And I'm glad. I mean, I know we kind of just chat here and there, just we shoot the shit, and
Oh, but
we bitch and whine about things, I'm sure, but that's the whole point. That's what we need each other for.
right?
That's what we need people in our life for. Is just you're having a rough day or whatever, or you just want to have something to bitch about. We both can agree. Yep.
Oh, hell
So
yeah, man. Gym fam. That's what we're here for.
absolutely. But seriously though, it's been nice having you on, and I'd love to have you on again if you're interested. And
100%. Always. Always game, dude. Hit me up. Always.
all right, perfect.
Okay. Take care. Thanks, Luke.
You too.